The beans are ground, the steam is rising, and the mics are on.
I'm Ishita, joined as always by Alejandro. We take the topics you love and break them down over a fresh roast.
So grab your mug because it's showtime.
Be honest. Are you really happy with the coffee that you drink or just caffeinated?
Coffee is one of the most popular beverages on planet Earth, and there's lots of ways you can prepare it.
There's also many variables that go into preparing the best cup of coffee.
On the very first series of Espression, we'll delve into our experiences with the drink that fuels the modern world.
What makes a good cup? What are the little knobs that can tweak your coffee? And what does your choice of coffee say about you?
In this episode, we'll talk about methods and the question that's on every listener's mind. What is the best cup of coffee?
So grab your favorite mug and let's dial it in.
So welcome to this very first episode of Espression. Today we are just doing a trial run to see how everything works and to get everything set up. And for this first episode, we chose something that is very, very dear to us, and it's a passion that we both share, and it is coffee. So as the introduction clip showed, my name is Alejandro, and this is Ishita Gupta. And usually we are going to start these episodes by talking about why we chose this topic. So why did we choose this topic, Ishita?
Well, we both love coffee, and that's how we've had many conversations. And also, we both come from countries where coffee is grown, and coffee is it's a very popular drink in some parts of the country. And so I know that India has some really good coffee, especially the southern parts of India, and we love our coffee. And Costa Rican coffee is absolutely amazing, as much as I've tried. And I think it's known world over, and that's what's wonderful about it. So the coffee episode seems like a very good choice to start with.
So, question that I feel like we should have just to get the ball rolling. What methods have you tried? Like, what ways of making coffee have you tried, and which is your favorite?
I've tried the Indian filter coffee way, which I will talk about soon. And I've tried the espresso machine. And I've tried the French press. Apart from that, I've not tried that many ways. I think I'm very new to coffee that way, but I still love getting to know different ways of making coffee, and I'm still quite fascinated by the whole thing, everything, where the beans come from, what you do with that, how you make your fresh cup of coffee, all of that. But with the methods that I've tried, the one that I really stuck to is the espresso machine coffee. And I love making that in the morning every day, pulling a shot and then steaming my milk, all of that. I've tried the French press. I liked it, but I think there's something about the whole process of using the machine that really feels very mindful and exciting in a way. So that's a major part of my routine and something that has genuinely been my favorite. What about you? What have you tried?
Yeah, for me, I think the French press is definitely going to be my favorite of the analog methods, like the ones that don't have any machines. Yeah, because it's just easy. Like, you get the French press, glass French presses, or these stainless steel ones, and it's also an unfiltered method, so you get all the oils and all the flavors of the coffee. And I have not tried the V60 or like these ones that have like these sort of pots as well. I've still yet to try those. I will tell you, and I will agree with you, that the espresso machine, using an espresso machine it becomes part of your routine as well. And so over the past year, I've also kind of started to use it a lot more. And I also respect espresso just because it has so many little dials, so many little things.
Yeah.
Even though I have to admit, it can sometimes be a little bit too much. Like, you become overwhelmed by the amount of stuff that you have to use, how expensive it all gets as well. but I respect it. And of course, like if you go somewhere and you get a really good espresso shot, you're like, yes, this is almost like an art form at this point. There's also these. So we also you kind of wanted to include this here. So in Costa Rica, we have these devices which are quite archaic. If you look at them, they're sort of like socks. And there's some other places that have them, but we call them chorreador. So it's these wood devices with a sock, and you put the coffee in the sock, and then you pour over hot boiling water, and then there comes the filtered coffee under the sock. I don't know, like it's not. I have to admit, it's not my favorite method, but it is quite traditional, and I think every Costa Rican that you come across will have one because we take it everywhere. And yeah, you definitely saw mine.
Sounds quite simple as well. I feel like there's not a lot, like as compared to the espresso machine where you're turning like so many dials and everything, and you've got to wait for the lights to turn green so you can start like, pulling the shot and steaming your milk. This seems like a much more straightforward way, but also like really nice. I'm yet to try it, but it genuinely sounds good. I wanted to ask about this method. Can you only have black coffee in this way, or can you also have it with milk?
Yeah, no. So it's basically it's just a filtered coffee, like filtered, like a method of making filtered coffee. If you want to add the milk, you have to add it afterwards.
After, right?
The only like con I would say, I mean, happens with the French press, happens with other methods as well, is that you have to wash the device, which in this case means washing the sock, and usually that's filled with all the coffee grounds, which can sometimes be a bit annoying to wash. But overall, it's quite a traditional method. I think my grandma, my grandpa, older generations used to only use this method. Now we have all these different ways of making it, and like all these more advanced coffee culture. We care about the beans and the origin and stuff. But traditionally, this was the way that my grandparents at least made coffee.
Oh, that sounds really nice, honestly. Similar to that, we have the Indian filter coffee, which is actually called the South Indian filter coffee because of how popular it is in the southern parts of India. I think the northern parts of India are still obsessed with tea, not so much with coffee. But in the southern parts, it's quite, again, there's not a lot of machinery involved, not a lot of elaborate procedures involved. You take your coffee, and we have this little steel, it's like a steel filter kind of thingy, which has a little collection pot on the bottom, and on top there's a lid, and in between there's a filter, which is just a metallic surface with holes in it, and you put your coffee in, you put some boiling water in, and you cover it, and it drips slowly, and you get kind of like a shot of coffee, and it's called decoction. And when you get that decoction in the pot, and the decoction that you get after say about half an hour-ish, so you keep, it's a long process, so you keep that, it drips slowly, and you can keep that for a long time as well. And you get your decoction, and then you mix that with hot milk, and we have these specific tumblers that we use with this. So it's like a small glass with a small bowl, and you pour the milk and the coffee decoction in that, and then you keep on pouring it into the other vessel. So you pour it from the glass to the bowl and then back to the glass. And what you get at the end is a very well mixed coffee with the decoction and the milk, nicely mixed together. And there's like a nice layer of froth on top. And of course, you've got to add the sugar because you don't have filter coffee without sugar. So it's very different from the kind of coffee that's more popular these days, which is, your no sugar and
coffee, or like just a black drink.
Yeah, these days it's like no, and there's different types of milk that you have, but with the Indian filter coffee, you have to stick with your regular cow milk, and you add sugar in it, and that's it.
All right, that was a very interesting explanation on filtered coffee. We're going to go on a break, and we will be right back with Espression. Welcome to True Brew. Yes, so for this break, we will... this is called True Brew, Shots of Science. So the idea is that we do fun facts, and then we can just react and talk about them. So Ishita will start by saying a fun fact about coffee, and then I will also share another fun fact that I looked up, and we can just have a discussion. So Ishita, what do you have for us today?
So, my True Brew is, did you know that the world's first webcam was actually invented in 1991 by Cambridge scientists who were just too lazy to check the coffee pot?
Oh my god.
They rigged a camera to a research lab called the Trojan Room just to live stream whether the pot was empty so they wouldn't waste a walk.
Really? A webcam?
That's how we got our webcams.
Well,
Because of coffee.
It's a very Cambridge solution. Yeah, I wouldn't have imagined though.
Yeah.
So like, does that mean that cameras, the device that was connected, was just literally pointed at the coffee machine?
Yeah, it was. It was pointed at the coffee pot because they were like, we're not gonna go walk all the way to find out that the coffee pot is empty. So they would only have to walk when someone refilled it. So yeah, so they set up a camera, and that's how they tracked the pot.
Well, that's definitely a pretty good way of solving a problem.
Yeah,
True Brew is more of a fun fact. Finland consumes the most coffee in the world, and with a total of 12 kilograms, which is the equivalent of 1,600, almost 1,680, so it's almost 1,700 cups of coffee per person per year. So yeah, just for comparison, like how many cups of coffee do you drink a year? Like,
yeah, oh my god, that is a huge number. And yeah, I can't even do the math. It's so many cups a day if you calculate that, because
yeah, so that is 4.6 cups a day. Like, I only have one.
Oh my, me too. Maximum 2, I would say. Honestly, now though, like the 4 cups a day doesn't seem that bad.
Oh my god.
But maybe that's just my...
If I only have 1 cup a day, and sometimes I have trouble sleeping if I have it too late. If I have coffee after 4 p.m.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Can't sleep at night.
Yeah.
Can't imagine having almost 5 cups though.
That is true. That is right. I mean, I don't know. Is it? Do you know if it's a part of the tradition there that you're supposed to have it with like meals or after meals or anything like that?
Good question. I did read once that they have this, Scandinavian countries have this tradition of after work or even sometimes in the middle where they have these breaks where the teams just get together and talk, and in that sort of rendezvous they have coffee. So maybe they just as part of that work culture, then that also leads to more coffee consumption. Plus also I would imagine the colder weather might also play a part.
Yeah, that could be it as well. Yeah, interesting. That's interesting. Well, I hope that they get enough sleep at night, because I cannot imagine being on that much caffeine and still having a good sleep schedule.
No, me either. Well, anyways, that was True Brew, Shots of Science. We will be right back with Espression, and we will talk about variables, tools, our favorite coffee drinks, and our drink choices in general, just like what we want to have, where we want to have it. Welcome back to Espression. Now, we have talked a little bit about filtered coffee. We did a little bit of a fun break, and I want to get into the discussion on variables and tools in coffee. So, what makes a cup? What are your favorite aspects of the coffee that you drink. Bitterness, body, the water temperature, all of these things that coffee connoisseurs like to talk about. Like, what do you like in your coffee? Or how do you choose to make it? Like, for example, let's say bitterness. Like, do you like a bitter coffee or do you like a lighter one?
If it was to me, I mean, I used to like bitter coffee a lot earlier. Then I don't know, something changed, and now I'm not a very big fan of the bitter coffee.
Why?
But I still, yeah, I don't know. I mean, I think I just sort of began to appreciate the taste of coffee more, where it was like, I think I
So you say
understood
that
it better.
the taste is not, like, it's masked by the bitterness, is that it?
Sometimes it can be. And I think when I was relatively newer to coffee, I thought that the more bitter the coffee is, the better it is, something like that. But
Okay, got it, yeah.
then I tried different types of coffee and I realized that, well, it doesn't matter if it's bitter or not. It has to be like the flavors that you get out of it are actually, you can appreciate them a lot more when it's not bitter. But I still understand that if you have a flavorful bitter cup of coffee, I mean, you can still enjoy it as much as any other cup of coffee. But personally, for me, I've switched to lesser bitter coffees for some reason. What about you?
Yeah, so going back to the bitterness conversation, I did remember reading that that's one of the reasons why specialty coffees, which are considered to be like the gold standard, like the best tasting coffees in the industry, they are usually medium roasted, because roasting affects the bitterness. So if they're roasted for longer periods of time, then they become darker and more bitter. So that might explain why you find there's more depth in the flavor in terms of bitterness. But personally, I've always been at odds with the bitterness. Honest, when it's too bitter, I find it too overwhelming. So I usually tend to choose lighter or sort of more balanced flavored coffee, if you want to look at it that way. And it might also be part of the kind of coffee that you grow up with. So usually in my family, my mom does not like really bitter coffees, and she was usually the one who bought the coffee for most of my life. So I just basically grew up with more like lighter tastes in general. So yeah, I'm
That
not
makes
really
sense,
that.
yeah. Yeah, I get that. Yeah. But it also depends on if you're having it with milk and without milk, I think.
True.
For me
I'll have it with
personally,
milk.
I mean, yeah, I like my coffee with milk. I like a nice creamy cup of coffee. That's what I want.
Good question,
But the few,
sorry. What type of milk do you drink with your coffee?
oat milk all the way. It has to be nice, creamy oat milk for me. I can't have it any other way.
I like oat milk. So yeah, I started trying oat milk, maybe like 1 to 2 years ago. And I just like the flavor of it. It's just a different profile to it, and I think it changes the flavor of a lot of drinks, a lot of like milk drinks.
Yeah.
So yeah, I get it. Like, I mean, if I want to try a default version of, I don't know, a latte or cappuccino, I'll go with regular dairy milk. But yeah, oat milk definitely adds another layer of flavor to it.
Yeah, for me, I think the oat milk taste really goes well with the flavors of coffee. I have tried other milks, like I've tried the regular dairy milk, and I liked it. That was my first introduction to coffee. I think at that time oat milk wasn't even that popular. I've also tried almond milk, and that was quite good actually. I would say though that I find it less creamier than oat milk, and someone, as I just said, that I love creamy coffee, so I think that matters to me a lot. Soy milk is something that I'm actually yet to try, but I know how popular it is, and I know that a lot of people prefer it as well.
Soy milk definitely has another flavor to it. Like, I also like it. It's kind of like oat milk. If you like oat milk, you might actually like soy as well.
I will try it soon then.
What about your favorite drink type?
one of my favorite cups of coffee has to be a cortado. Like, I go into a cafe and if I absolutely love it and I have to order that. My go-to when there's not many options is always a cappuccino. I feel like you can never go wrong with a cappuccino because I feel like it's got the perfect proportions. It's the best way to taste the coffee if you want milk in your coffee. But cortado it's just amazing for me. I love tasting the coffee. I love the espresso shot with some cream, and it's perfection to me. I don't know, it's perfection. What about you? What's your favorite cup of coffee?
Now you mentioned cortados are definitely something that I've been trying out recently. I still don't know how to make one though. I still haven't made one. But usually, so if you take me to a cafe, I'll just have a cappuccino. I think it's just a good way of... I'll just start by saying that I'm not really good with just a regular espresso. I feel like it's too bitter. It can get too acidic sometimes. And I think the cappuccino is really the perfect balance where you try the espresso shot, so the coffee, and the milk, and the steaming, and a drink that sort of... I don't know, it's a good way, the way that I would choose to try a coffee. But I get it, like usually some people are like, no, espresso is the one where you actually try the coffee on its own without the addition of milk. And there's also like some people that don't even like to have milk in their coffee at all. So for example, my grandma always likes to have Americano. So everywhere we go, she orders an Americano because that's just regular sort of black coffee kind of drink.
And we've been talking about hot coffee, but you know, there's so many people who just like iced coffee and they're gonna have like a cold brew or something like that. I mean, those are options as well. I've personally not been into cold as much. Even if the weather is really hot, I might still go for a hot cup of coffee. And I've gotten in a lot of trouble for that because people around me have been like, what? You're so weird. But it's just something that I like. And and I know some people who absolutely do not like hot coffees as well. So everyone's got their preferences.
For me, like, my introduction to coffee was actually through iced coffees and frappes and stuff like that. It was only after I've like my 10th caramel frappuccino at Starbucks that I was like, hey, you know what? There might be something better than this. And I started getting into coffee, even though I come from a culture that is where coffee is really popular. It's just ingrained in the culture itself. So that's interesting. So I mean, I still, depending on the weather, I think would be the main factor, like why I would choose to have an iced coffee. So it's not that I like completely switched to hot, but that was my introduction to it. And
that sounds interesting. Should we take a short break now?
We shall, yes. So we will be right back with Espression.
Okay, I'm gonna pour myself a nice cup of coffee. So welcome to our segment, Unpopular Pour. This is a space where we're going to share unpopular opinions about coffee and see what the other person thinks. So Alejandro, do you have anything you want to share first?
I do. So I have two unpopular pours actually. First one is that Starbucks, even though a lot of coffee connoisseur people like to criticize it, it's actually really good in making coffee drinks and just really fun drinks that just mix weird things that, I don't know, I never would have thought would go with coffee, like pistachio or cherry or things like that. And like me, a pistachio frappuccino from time to time.
Oh yeah, definitely. I think the pistachio trend just took over everything, and it is actually quite nice, I would like to say. I haven't had a cherry flavored any kind of coffee yet though, and I did not know that was out there, so that's very interesting to find out. But I still know that a lot of people still like their coffees to be just the way that it is, and that is just your regular coffee, maybe with a bit of milk. And I am actually one of those people. I will obviously try different things, but I'm never going to order any kind of twisted versions of coffee with like but I cannot imagine myself ordering anything with caramel or peppermint. I've had gingerbread flavored stuff sometimes, and that's only because of the Christmas spirit, but apart from that, yeah, I think, but I know that lots of people cannot have coffee any other way. They have to have their
Some weird,
sugary syrups in it.
syrup.
Yeah.
So my second popular pour is that instant coffee can sometimes be really good. And I tried it, it really surprised me when I tried the Davidoff instant coffee, which is quite popular in India. And I was like, this is actually not that bad. If the entire other different ways of making coffee cease to exist today, I would be happy having this. I mean, maybe not as happy, but I would be content. Like, it would work. So that's my unpopular for today. Hot takes.
I think there are lots of people out there who love their coffee who would say that instant coffee isn't real coffee. I mean, I've tried instant coffee. I was on instant coffee for a long time before I discovered this whole world out there. But once I discovered it, I know that I cannot go back. I've still tried a couple of instant coffees, especially when I'm at work and I can't make a nice freshly brewed cup of coffee there. I have to be really quick with it. But at that point, I have not enjoyed my coffee. It's just been for the caffeine, honestly. I do know that there's lots of nice instant coffees out there, like you mentioned Davidoff. When I was back in India, I was always having Davidoff coffee, and I used to really like it. But I haven't actually tried it after going on your fresh roasted coffee, all of that. Yeah.
So what is your unpopular pour then?
Well, so it's not going to be something that a lot of people like if you like iced coffee, but they say that if you have to drink your coffee iced, you don't actually like the taste of coffee. You just like cold caffeinated bean water.
What do you mean?
Apparently, the real coffee flavor is only fully unlocked when it's hot.
But I don't know. I like iced coffees. I mean, they might not be as full-bodied, but they're nice and they're fun.
Given how popular iced drinks are, this has to be a bit unpopular with the people.
Fair enough. All right, that was Unpopular Pour, a segment where we share unpopular opinions about coffee, and we have a discussion about them. We will be right back with Espression.
Okay, welcome back to Espression. We are now going to dive into some interesting, fun stuff about beans and ground coffee, instant coffee, all of the different stuff. And we're also going to talk about coffee culture, which has been spreading all over the world for quite a while now. So let's dive into it. In terms of the different types of coffees that are available out there, you've got your whole beans, you've got ground coffee, we spoke about instant coffee, and now there's also these bags, just like tea bags. You've got these coffee bags and you put them in hot water and it makes you a nice cup of coffee. So what do you like, and do you have a favorite? Is there something that you don't like?
So usually, I mean, I would, if I have the chance, if I have the equipment, I would like to just grind the beans. And I think that's the freshest way of having coffee. But of course, you need the equipment, you need the time. And that's where instant coffee might also be an option, as you said, like when you're at work and you just need something quick, a drink, quick, caffeine hit, quick.
Caffeine boost.
I quite like the bags though, so I was trying one of them a couple of weeks ago, and they were quite, I mean, I'd never seen anything like that. And I think they're also quite a quick, easy way of making a cup of coffee. And I think it's a really good innovation. I think that will definitely, I don't know, should definitely
Yeah.
catch on because I haven't seen much of that. Yeah, so it's just I was going to say that I think in the end, it's all like what works for you, right? And
Mm-hmm.
how much you actually, how much time, how much energy you want to put into it. For me, I think I would,
Yeah.
so I would, I would choose to take the time and grind the beans, but I also get
Mm-hmm.
it that sometimes having them pre-ground is easier because then you can just put them in the coffee maker or something like that. Depends also on the method that you're using. But
Yeah.
yeah, it's just all about choice.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I've been a fan of all different types of coffee, but the coffee bags is something that I was introduced to very recently, and I was quite surprised by it. I was a little skeptical of it because, like,
Hmm.
well, it's kind of like instant
Looks like it
coffee,
has
but
that.
it's yeah, it's instant, but it's not instant coffee, but it's also not your any other kind of coffee, but I quite liked it. I think if it's a good type of your coffee bean or whatever, it's going to be really nice, and it's a good fun fast way of getting a nice cup of coffee,
And I think
so
that said
that's
like,
definitely there.
as you said, so you said the bean. I feel like so I do the same analogy with burgers. I feel like with a burger, I summarize it like this. For me personally, 80% of how much I actually like the burger is based on the patty.
Oh yeah.
For me, like 80% of whether or not I'm gonna like a coffee is if the coffee bean is actually good, and then the rest is not really that important to me. I know people have different
Mm-hmm.
opinions on this, but personally, like in my like, if the bean is good, the method can be not as good, but it's still all right.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's a good analogy actually. Yeah, as long as you're getting the flavors, your different notes and everything, I think it should be fine. Like whatever method you use, it will probably turn out to be good. Well, speaking of, I was wondering if these preferences sort of for different types of methods have changed over time. What I've personally seen is that there is a preference for your quicker cups of coffee with the kind of rush we're all in. And I think in that we also see the coffee pods becoming so popular because you still get a nice cup of coffee, but it's instant. It's you put in a pod and you press some buttons and there you have a nice cup of coffee. So
Yeah,
that's
so if
there as
you're
well.
talking about the Nespresso pots, right? Or these, well, I mean,
Well,
used
there's
to be
lots of them out there
Nespresso,
now.
now there's others.
As yeah.
But yeah, they're kind of fun. It's kind of, I always feel like I've always found the idea of you press a button and so many complicated things happen, and then something eventually comes out of the machine quite fun.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, yeah, you're right. Like in the end, it's all about efficiency and getting something that is a step above maybe something like instant coffee. And for people
Yeah.
who like espresso, their regular espresso, having their shots made in just a couple seconds, I think it's quite a really good way and quick way. There's of course like
Yeah.
this whole environmental debate over the pots, which because they're
Mm.
not reusable, they're disposable, then there's the whole issue of okay, what do we do with them? How can they be recycled? How could they be collected even sometimes, even if they can be recycled? Which, I mean, again, some people have really strong opinions on, but I think it's also a good way of getting something that is quite quick in this world that, yeah, I guess
Hmm?
is definitely one where we are more constantly in a rush compared to
Yeah.
previous eras of humanity, I would say.
That's true. We are in an era of rushing everywhere. And it's always important to look at the sustainability aspect of anything that we're using at this point. But that's definitely there, and I think the coffee industry is trying its best to become more sustainable. We're seeing a lot of changes that are happening. Well, that brings me to our next sort of topic of interest, which is coffee culture. I mean, we are seeing this rise in coffee culture in different parts of the world. I feel like earlier it was more related to sort of the Western world, but it's kind of taking over the whole world now, and we see that everywhere. I mean, what are your thoughts on that? What do you think?
My perspective on this, it's kind of, I come from a place that historically had most of the economy reliant and based on this crop, which is coffee. And so we grew up several generations ago with coffee as being a very, very important part of, because it was a really important part of the economy, it eventually became really important for our culture. So I don't really know much about the whole coffee being, or the consumption of coffee, for example, as you said, in India with the south and the north and tea, because for me it was always coffee. Tea was always a secondary thing that needed to be brought from elsewhere. Although lately I get, like, I think there's been some tea production here as well. So I'm not sure about that, but I'm actually curious now that you mention it. Like, do you think that coffee is taking over the East as well? India, all of the Asian countries as well. Like, how do you see that?
Oh yeah, definitely. And I think if I look at just India, coffee was more popular in the south, but now, even in the north, I know that people are majorly still tea drinkers. I mean, if I look at my own family, they're all, because I'm from the north, they're still very dependent on tea, but you still see these cafes becoming very popular, but they're not serving the traditional Indian coffees. They're serving these global versions which are more popular. You've got your cappuccinos and your lattes and your, you've got your different drinks with all these syrups and all the whipped cream on top and all of that, and that's becoming quite popular as well. So I think we also see that coffee culture it's different in different regions, but it's also one that's sort of global, and we're all following that. Yeah, I mean,
so I'm still yet to try Indian filtered coffee, but it would also be it'd be good if it also went the other way. So Indian filtered coffee reaching the same menu as a cappuccino, in the same way like
I think that's what
has reached the menu as well in these
definitely.
countries. But again, I feel like the most
we're
important part.
seeing more of that.
Yeah, we definitely are. We definitely are. No, but what I was saying is that the most important thing is that in the end it's a personal choice, and everyone has different tastes and comes from different places, and then they should be able to choose which one they like best. Maybe you don't even like coffee at all. Maybe you want tea. Yeah. But that's okay.
I mean, at the end of the day, it's I feel like as coffee enthusiasts, people get a lot into what is a good cup of coffee and what's wrong and what's right. But at the end of the day, it's all about what you enjoy, what brings joy to you, what's your perfect cup of coffee, if it's even caffeinated. I mean, a lot of people like it just for the taste. And you've got so many drinks out there, and as long as you enjoy it and it makes you feel good, it's all good. And
I agree 100% with that. So that is all for today. This was Espression, episode 1. Hope you enjoyed the very first episode of this podcast. And now we are going over to the crema section. Just like the golden layer atop a perfect espresso, we've reached the crema,
the final rich essence of today's conversation.
From the traditional suck filters of Costa Rica
to the frothy steel tumblers of South India, we've seen that whether you're a technical espresso lover or an instant coffee enthusiast, the heart of the drink is the ritual it creates.
We hope these stories of beans, bodies, and brewing methods have added a little extra flavor to your day.
Until next time, keep your beans fresh and your conversations even fresher.